My name is Ango, and today we're talking about a variety of wrestling topics, such as a former WWE superstar returning to the company, but this time they're going to be returning in a different role. Not only that, but we're also going to be talking about a SmackDown superstar who is set for a very, very big push, and that one's really exciting. I'm going to talk about why that's actually a good thing, why it's needed, what it's going to do to WWE long term, and we are going to talk about the 2300 Arena debacle. We got a major update. It's all coming up right here on The Angle Show. And by the way, if you guys like videos like this, go ahead and click subscribe. Honestly, it really means the world, and your guys' comments and likes and everything is so deeply appreciated. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers, and I just want to let you guys know sincerely, thank you for watching my content. I love interacting with you guys. We got to talk about NXT 2300 Arena because about a month or so ago, we talked about it. There was reports that WWE was going to be doing the 2300 Arena. And part of that was because of the fact that AEW will be doing 2300 Arena. So the original reports that came out was that WWE was doing this. Obviously people kind of put two and two together, right? WWE running 2300 Arena right before AEW begins its residency. It creates a little bit more fatigue to AEW because with the residency, with them doing X amount of shows there, there is a little bit of fatigue that's with that. And obviously, with WWE going this route where they were rumored to be running the event, it led to a huge dialogue, especially in my comments, where a lot of people just felt like WWE was being petty. That doesn't appear to be the case. WWE is actually not doing this. According to PWInsiderElite.com, they have debunked the rumor suggesting that WWE is going to be doing a TV taping there. Now they said that they spoke to the arena's management and they actually confirmed that no WWE or NXT event was scheduled for the building. According to the report, 2300 Arena's management's looking forward to hosting AEW. And, there's a lot of significance because Tony Khan obviously went to ECW shows there as a fan, and now he's actually running his own shows there with AEW. Look, WWE obviously takes their NXT shows on the road every so often, which is great. However, I think for WWE, there was a lot of blowback. A lot of fans were really upset about this, and it was all from a rumor. It wasn't even confirmed by WWE. WWE didn't announce anything. WWE still hasn't confirmed anything of that nature. And now PW Insider Elite has obviously, they've moved on from that, and they've confirmed that it's not happening. Now, I think that's a good thing for professional wrestling. In terms of competition between the two companies, obviously you would want them to compete in that regard. But I think it is better that, AEW will just have their time there at 2300 Arena. It's not that big of a deal. That brings us to our next topic, ladies and gentlemen, Julia. She is set for major plans on WWE television. And we got to talk about this because PWInsider.com has dropped another big report. They've reported that there is a strong belief among talent within WWE that Julia is set for a major spotlight on SmackDown in the coming weeks. Obviously, Julia was made to be a very big deal by WWE when they brought her in. We saw her at WrestleMania, and we've obviously seen what she did, after she signed and after they highlighted her in Marigold. We saw her go into NXT. She absolutely killed it in NXT. Very short stint in NXT. Then she comes to WWE's main roster. She goes from Raw to SmackDown, and now we're seeing her all over SmackDown. And obviously, they're building this feud between Julia and Zelina Vega. And maybe you guys have a different opinion than me. And I'm very, very curious to know what you guys think. So please be honest in the comments. But do you guys think Julia should be the U.S. Women's Champion? Now, I want to throw my opinions out there because I think Julia winning the U.S. Women's Championship is actually really necessary. And the reason for that is largely due to the fact that I think Julia has been such a great talent, but I think she immediately adds some legitimacy to the U.S. Women's title. Chelsea Green did a great job holding that belt, but she didn't really have valuable competitors to go against. Zelina Vega was given the belt, and she was obviously, which is a big deal because she should be rewarded for her loyalty to WWE. She's always been doing the WWE way. She's been riding the flag for the WWE, and she's been burned by the WWE, especially under the Vince McMahon era. So when she won the U.S. title, it felt like it was a nice little reward for her loyalty and hard work. And I think she's a great champion, but I think Julia adds a little bit of a different level to the belt. very much like Gunther did to the IC title. It doesn't, I'm not saying this to like poop on the people who were the IC champion before Gunther, but I think when Gunther came in and Triple H came in with the booking, he really made those US titles and the Intercontinental titles feel valuable, especially at a time where the world champion isn't on TV much. Those titles felt so important. And I think the women's US title and the women's Intercontinental title need a little bit more legitimacy for people to take them a little bit more seriously. I actually want Julia to go on with like a year-long run, which is crazy because I don't typically like long title reigns. But right now, the women's title scene, you know, for the world title, it's very packed right now. And it's like, you can't rush her to that spot. So why not add credibility to the women's US title by a lengthy reign? And I know it sounds crazy because I don't like lengthy reigns, but this is one of those situations that I genuinely feel like would be a big deal and it would be the right decision. And that brings us to our final topic, ladies and gentlemen. Another former WWE star is returning to the company, but no, they are not returning to the ring. Let's talk about it. Jazz is reportedly coming back to WWE. Let's talk about this. So PW Insider again with another big report. Jazz is set to return to the WWE Performance Center next month, according to sources within NXT who have spoken to PWInsider.com. They have said that she is being brought in for another run as a guest coach for the developing talent. Now, you might be wondering, why am I talking about this? It's not that big of a deal. It's just a guest role. However, there was actually a time where Jazz was brought in as a guest coach for NXT, and the reports from the NXT superstars and the personnel backstage within NXT were very, very happy and very positive with her contributions. And this has actually led to WWE bringing her back for another run. Now, the thing that I want to talk about here, because I think this is so important, is whether or not WWE is kind of doing this as a trial to determine whether or not they would bring her in full time. That would be my assumption, right? The fact that you're going to have guest coaches come in from time to time makes a lot of sense. But this is one where people are obviously very thrilled with what is going on, at least according to the reports. I'm wondering if this leads to a very long-term plan. And of course, with WWE having Jazz in the mix, you know, that always opens up an opportunity for other things to be done as well. You have talent sometimes who can do both, coach and as well as perform. Jazz is somebody who we also seen kind of lurk around a little bit with TNA, which has been really cool. Jazz is a legend, bro. Whether people want to admit it or not, Jazz is a legend. And if you look at Jazz in her prime and where WWE is today, it probably would have been a lot better if she was in WWE today, considering how great this women's division is. But very, very cool. Glad to see that she's coming back. Looks like this could potentially lead to something full-time, which would always be great. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I appreciate you all for watching. I'll see you next time.